everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Going. What do we got? Some fucking French toast over there. Maybe the possibilities are real. It is I, your neighborhood friendly coach, trainer, promoter, and faux year-old professional wrestler Zack Primetime Reeb Chink Chapoom Pow Pow, joined alongside my podcast partner, the Wrecking Ball, Paul Isadora. Paul, what's up? And welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, sir. Not much is going on. Just enjoying the day here in lovely Sparks, Nevada. Just just getting one of those days off where you just start knocking out the honeydew list. So, got my went ahead and got the oil changed on my wife's vehicle and grabbed a few snacks from the Whole Foods or Trader Dick's or Trader Joe's or whatever it is, man. That's how you that's the sacrifices that we make, man. She works, I go do the shopping. While I'm working, she's doing the shopping, all that stuff. That's right. She cracked the whip and I went and got it done.
Get her done, babe. Get her done. I have some Parmesan pretzels, thin diet Pepsi. You got the right one, baby. You know when you like it. I was talking the other day and definitely talking to our boy, your boy, the one and only Spacky Ballad. And, I wanted to talk about storytelling. It seems like it's a big thing. WWE, I was listening to some Jimmy Cornette and also listening in on some other people. And they're talking about WWE just hired somebody and they're using AI, computer artificial intelligence to help write some storylines that'll probably save them some money and get some guys kicked out. It made me think about being in McDonald's and the employees are walking around back there and you're standing up at the counter and they're looking at you like you are a retard. They're like, oh, what do you think we're going to come take your order even though we're 5 feet away? There's a screen over there that you can punch your order in on the screen. We don't want to deal with you. You want no pickles? Well, the option's not there for you to tell us no pickles. Why would we make it fresh? And I wanted to talk about some things today, and there's a lot I wanted to talk about, different scenarios of it, but storytelling. So we always talk about, in order to tell a story, first you must establish a character, right? First, we got to establish the character. Second, we must develop that character. Third, after we've established and developed the character, however long this takes, and what it means is not going over, but getting that character over, whether it's villainous or heroinous. And then once we get these characters over, we've created, we've established, and we've developed these characters on both sides of the spectrum, good versus evil, then we're able to find a conflict. And once we have done those three things successfully, now we are on our way to storytelling. From storytelling, there's two different types of stories. First, we're creating a story within a program to generate interest in the audience and gain viewership and ticket sales. The second half of storytelling is called a storied rivalry, which you could look at John Cena and Edge. You could look at CM Punk and CM Punk and John Cena, The Rock and Stone Cold. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. There's a lot of storied rivalries, and what we mean by a storied rivalry is that you can go that you can stop this story for a year or two and come back to this storied rivalry and continue to draw money off of what you've already established, developed, conflicted, and told, and then go right back into telling the same, continuing the same, or a new story. One thing I wanted to talk about now that we know what it takes briefly in a very descriptive way to get to storytelling is what a lot of people, when you don't establish that character, when you don't create the character, you don't establish the character, you don't develop the character, when there's no conflict, no arcs, nothing like that, it becomes just an angle. You know, a lot of guys use a quick dusty or a run-in finish to run a quick angle to just get two guys to face for a belt, especially on the indies the next show. But one thing that I found interesting is a lot of companies have the ability to tell a short story, but most companies have what I like to call the paragraph. They like to tell you a paragraph, and a lot of paragraphs can be good. They can be entertaining, but a short story is more than one page on the book. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on, just briefly breaking down in different scenarios, establishing a character, developing a character, creating a conflict between good versus evil, telling the story. And I want to hear your thoughts on what I'm saying about companies using a paragraph and the possibility of a short story, but never getting to the point that they can tell a really detailed, meat on the bone story over time to generate viewership and an audience.
Absolutely. So, well, obviously, it's got to be important to establish a character. Obviously, that's kind of the beginning of your of your character. You're just trying to establish it so the fans know, like, is this a good guy? Is this a bad guy? Is this somebody that I should like? I should hate? What it is, right? You want to give a little bit of idea of what this character is, so the fans understand what the character does, right? So obviously you need to introduce that character, make sure that the fans know who it is, get familiar with it, and then obviously developing that character, throughout whatever they're doing, right? I guess you think about a Sergio Santana, like right off the top of my head, right? Just as this guy that when I first saw him, obviously it's like, oh, this guy's obviously a heel, irritating, I don't know, agitates the fans a little bit, but now it's like you're building that character into every single time he comes out. The fans are getting increasingly upset with him. You're building that heat with the fans that they're just like, shut the fuck up already, just wrestle, that type of stuff, right? So establishing the character and getting the fans to really buy into it and understand, what's going on. What is this character all about? How I should hate this character, I should love this character, whatever the case may be, right? Really trying to establish what's going on, what the fans should be feeling, trying to get those emotions out of them, and moving forward like that. And then obviously you have to create some sort of conflict, right? Who is this character? Who do they like? Who do they not like? Why? And creating some sort of issue where the fans can get involved, and then you can kind of get into that long-term storytelling where you can have those one-on-one matches. Then you can maybe have a tag match between a couple guys, and vice versa. You could start with tag wrestling and you can break off into singles matches between the guys that are in those teams. So definitely a lot of things you can do as far as the long-term storytelling, with after you've established your character and and really got that, introduced them and get it going, right? So definitely a lot to be done, but we tend to, we're just in a hurry. That's what it comes down to. We're just in a hurry. We tend to rush things, right? We have these two guys are wrestling, and we've got something else planned for later. So we're just like, oh, okay, well, let's let these guys wrestle, and then we'll just transition to something else. There's no long-term storytelling being done, which is gonna ultimately kill your callbacks, right? You can't call back to a situation if the situation didn't go on very long and the fans didn't really get to sink their teeth into it and really buy into it for a long period of time. So I don't know, quick and dirty, I guess, over the subject there.
Oh, quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty.
Just the way Johnny Fuego likes it, if you ask me.
That's right.
And that's the problem. We've talked about it many times on the actual programming itself right here is a lot of guys just want to wrestle. They want to wrestle. They don't give a flying fuck about telling the story. They don't tell. They want to get on microphone. They want to talk. They want to wrestle. They want to perform. And I've seen so many different times. I just seen a Brandon Nash. Let's take Brandon Nash for a second, because I've watched him work many times, and many times I've seen him at the point where he's very good at being verbal with the audience on the way coming to the ring, right? And you get wrestlers that are good at that, and they're very good verbally when it's over, and they have points in the match. But when I watched him in Stockton, he had broken his toe. He told me he had a broken toe, and he had to really slow things down, and there wasn't a lot of fans in the crowd, which I felt it was his best performance that I've seen so far. And it's not saying that I haven't seen him do a lot of good things as his character. That's another character I've watched. We established it with that Unwanted. I've watched it develop. We've created conflict with Nathan Brick, Jason Xavier, Buck and Bay. We've thrown a lot of conflicting ideas out there and different conflicting issues with baby faces. But on this particular night, he was able to go out to the ring and actually, because he had to slow down, he was working what little audience was out there. And I really enjoyed his work because I got to see a lot more of his persona, his character come out in the match. And I remember him telling me like, hey, sorry about a couple things out there. And I felt like, I felt like my performance was okay. And I said, actually, I think that was the best performance that I've seen from you. And a lot of nights we go out there and we don't think that this is going to be we don't think it's our best performance. But on that night, I really got to see a different side of him that I haven't seen, because what I've seen is him walking to the ring. So for me, there was a lot of growth in the character, and it came in a place where there wasn't a lot of fans, like what we did in Sparks with that angle to set up the 6-man. And then we went an hour and a half away from Sparks to debut in Urington and did the 6-man, made me realize how easy it is to tell a new town the story that we're trying to tell them. And all it took was getting one guy out there on a microphone to paint the picture properly and antagonize the audience. You know what I mean? And then here you guys came, and we saw the scenario. Like when I said Bad News Blakesley can't be picked up by any man in the locker room or any man in the crowd. Most men have a center of gravity, and this man is gravity. It put it in the audience's mind. And then here comes Jeffrey Excellence. And they're like, oh, good sized, in shape guy. Then here comes Illumide. Whoa, look at the size of this motherfucker right here. And then here comes 7-foot Big Paul. Oh, they just keep getting bigger. And now it gives the audience a chance from something that the antagonistic heel has said with a very large man by his side. And then they start seeing the different contestants that can challenge this statement, that can prove him wrong. And most of the time in the story, that's what the audience is looking for, is here's the heel, and the heel is the story he's trying to tell to the audience is, hey, this is what I believe. And the baby face is coming out, and they just want the baby face to prove the heel a liar and shut his fat mouth.
Absolutely. I think that's it's important to create that, right? Where you go into a new town where these fans have never seen, probably haven't seen wrestling live in their town for sure. Have definitely never seen us unless they've traveled from that town 75 miles to come to Reno to watch what we're doing. So getting a little bit of establishing what's going on with this intricate six-man tag was definitely important to do, so that way these fans knew what was supposed to be going on, who's the bad guys, who's the good guys, what the conflict is between these guys. So I think, throughout that match with, obviously me wanting to get my hands on you because you hit me with the chair, right? So I'm saying, I want that guy. That guy hit me with the chair. I want him in the ring right now. And that building to these fans aren't even excited enough to see me get in the ring. They don't deserve it, all this. So building that, right? So not only is that telling the story, but it's eating up some time. And it's making them increasingly agitated with the fact that that your character is afraid to get in the ring with my character in theory, right? And they're basically goading you into doing it, right? They're just gonna they're gonna antagonize you until you go, oh yeah, well, I'll prove that I'm not scared by getting in there, right? And then once they see you get over that fear, in their minds, now you see something else jumping in there. You see Jeffrey Excellence is like, you screwed me out of my title shot at the last show. So blind tags himself in, right? Unbeknownst to the Paul Isadora character, right? So he comes into the ring and I'm befuddled. Like, I thought I was going to get my hands on this guy, but I understood, right? He wants to get his hands on you also. So there's our story there. And
that's the story that
right.
We're telling it. We're telling it now.
Exactly. So, and that's just, about creating the conflict with somebody who maybe isn't aware of what's going on. So, just reiterating the things that we had done at the last show for any fans that didn't see it, and kind of a reminder for those fans that did see it of, oh yeah, that's right. That guy does want to get his hands on that guy because of fill in the blanks, So, and I just think it's good storytelling, and it's something that we can set up and we can use over several months to a year to maybe even more, depending on how long we can keep the fans engaged in what's going on and caring about, this character finally getting his hands on your character, right? So we have to just keep going. Like I've explained to some other people, it's like, well, what's going to happen next? And it's like, well, it kind of depends on how the fans react to what happens this time, right? Then we can kind of go, okay, well, this is what they want to see, right? This is what they're looking for. This is what we teased them that they were going to get to see and that they didn't get to see. So many little wrinkles just in that one story right there, So definitely some things there, and then obviously you keep little tidbits around, right? The fans still love Jerry Gigolo. The fans still hate Sergio, right? So that's always going to be something that we could go back to, right? So just, you think about, okay, they had this street fight as the culmination of what they were doing at that time. But I also think that that's a memorable thing, right? You have the violence, you have some of the things that happened in that match that people are going to talk about, right? That's where we use the creating moments versus people were trying to remember an entire match, or you go, oh, remember when that thing happened in that one match, right? So creating moments to try to tell those long-term stories, I think is invaluable as well.
I think too, because you said something there, but I think like, for an example, Sergio Gigolo, I think that match that happened came too soon.
Okay, and I can totally agree with that. You're definitely not wrong on that.
Yeah, because as you're explaining it, it's like there was so much more meat on the bone to get out of those two guys. There's so much. He's so entertaining, and Jerry's so entertaining on the. So to both in that instance, there's two characters that were boom. Here they are. Here's the creation of these two characters. We know this guy's the heel that the audience detests. And we know this guy's a babyface. One guy's very flamboyant, and the other guy, I can only think of everything. Every fan, one thing that sticks in my head is they always go, "Get in the ring already!" Like that's something I always hear from a fan when he get in the ring and wrestle already. So I feel like there was a lot more developing to be done there, and even if you go to that so quick, there you gotta even if you give them that, we gotta come back to that and use that match and the conclusion of that match as another arc, another way to move the story along. Because I believe in that match, didn't Sergio win that match?
I don't think so.
Jerry won the.
I think so.
Yeah, it's Jerry. Jerry won, which sucks because as soon as you add a street fight stipulation, you're basically giving it the blow off. And when the baby face goes over, that conflict is basically ended. There is no rivalry able to build from that. So now you have to find another reason why these two still have a problem with each other. But when you were talking about that, it's a simple story. So it's like, okay, we got the high flyer and we got the submission wrestler, and they're wrestling, and the high flyer is getting the better of the match, and he misses one of his high flying moves and hurts his leg or hurts his ankle. And then now the submission wrestler comes in and he puts a complete dissection, just a complete dissection on the fucking leg or the ankle or whatever's hurt. And now the baby face, now the high-flying babyface, does he ever recover from this to get his foot back under him so that he can fly again? Or does he have to completely find a new way to win this match or to get through this contest? And that's a great story that I like to see told. The only problem is how many guys out there, if that's their bread and butter, is their big flipping, twisting, springboarding moves. If you were to take that away from them, how many of those guys could complete the match without going back to their bread and butter? How many guys could be like, okay, I'm telling a story tonight, so I'm not going to be able to springboard. I'm not going to be able to bat. I'm not going to be able to do any of these dive outs after I hurt my ankle. I might find a way to win this contest tonight if I win, but I'm going to hobble out of here and I'm not going to get to do what I want to do. And that becomes the problem in the story too. You get guys that just want to do what they want to do and wrestle. So they have no motivation. They have no desire to tell the actual story. And I don't know if I was talking to you today about it, but we were talking about something and it was like, hey man, it doesn't matter if you win or lose because this is it's a fake pro wrestling match, right?
It was definitely me. Yeah, that was I was listening to Road Dogg, and someone asked him about what type of advice did he get from his dad, and he's like, there was a time that I was complaining that I was going to have to lose to someone coming in from the other company, and he's like, oh, I'm not putting that dude over. I'm not doing the job or whatever. And he's like, my dad just stopped me and said, hey, you have a job, right? Like, you have a job to do. Like, this is your job. And so what your job is to do what the boss is asking you to do, right? This isn't a real fight. This guy isn't really beating you. This is your job to make this guy look good and make it look like it's believable that this guy could beat you, right? This is phony pro wrestling. You know, this isn't your win-loss record has nothing to do with your actual toughness or your ability to win or anything like that, right? This is you're doing what the boss is asking you to do, right? You're doing the performance that they want you to do.
100%. And as a bad guy, and this is just the truth, if you can't go out there and lose, but still keep the audience interested in you as the bad guy, you are in the wrong business. If you think losing matter, now don't get me wrong. Once you start building a character up and getting over with the audience, there is times where that character should not lose to a certain other character. I get that. But if you're on a wrestling show that is generating less than 200 to 150 fans, and you are in that locker room with that what you just described right there, that ego of I'm not jobbing to this guy, it will affect my character. There is less than 150 fans at the show, my friend. Nobody on this show is drawing dick for shit or shit on a dick. Grab a paper towel and wipe that dirty brown poop off of your cock, because nobody is drawing any money to this thing. So for you to go, man, that's going to really damage my character. No, I think what damaged your character is you thinking that you're somebody when there's no money sitting in the seats out there. That's where you have what we call a fucking ego, and the narcissism, the narcissist comes into play. It's like, you got to go with it, man. To establish yourself, you have to do what that character would have to do. You want to be a heel? You're going to have to slip on some banana peels. You want to be a face? You're going to have to entertain the place, baby. Oh, yeah, dig deep and tell me what you want to see and what you want to do up in this place right here. I heard somebody say the other day, I think it was Jim Cornette. He said, give me something that makes me want to splooge all over the camera. You know what I mean? We don't really want to have to wipe your splooge off of our camera. That's a crime. That is a crime that can get you thrown in jail, and it can get you put on many websites that you don't want to be on with a beautiful. You want to take a real profile pic? Go ahead and splooge on my camera. We'll get you a real high quality profile pic. Maybe you can smile in it. But these guys have to understand what their job is. And I see so many guys that go out there and they just don't understand their job. And the job is exactly that. Do what we're asking you to do. And if you're uncomfortable doing it, then don't take the booking.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that there's definitely a good point there. And I know that I feel like real early in the podcast, we talked about the ability to say no. And you talked about you don't mind saying no to somebody if you think it's a bad idea. But you also use the caveat that if I think it's a bad idea, I'm also going to have the reason that I think it's a bad idea. And hopefully the promoter is going to say, oh, well, that makes sense, because I mean, you heard that. I mean, I heard it all the time about Stone Cold. I don't like that idea. Okay, well, do you have a better idea? It's like, no, you're the writer. That's your job. It's like, well, this is what I wrote for you. It's like, if you don't like it, maybe come up with a better idea, a better plan. What sounds better? What would work better? What makes more sense in your head? So having the ability, to say, hey, I don't think that makes sense, and here's why. That might be a way that you can kind of say, okay, show the promoter that not only am I invested in your product and I want to make it better because I'm giving you ideas to try to make it better and make it make more sense. That's also a way to go, hey, I care about my character and what we're trying to develop in your promotion. So, as much as I agree about do your job, do what you're asked to do. I also see the value in having, the investment in your character and the promotion enough to say, I don't like that idea, but here's what I think would work better. And then hopefully that leads to some sort of healthy discussion. If the promoter doesn't just say, you know what, that is a great idea, let's go with it, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think we have to have that type of relationship with, from the promoter aspect or from the talent aspect. You have to have those the relationship with the other person to be able to have those discussions without feelings getting hurt or me saying well, I don't see your character winning this match or whatever it is, whatever the conflict may be between the promoter and the talent. Hopefully healthy discussion is a good solution to figuring out a common ground, or maybe one person is going to talk the other person into saying, hey, I think your idea is better than mine, and you just talked about having an ego, and it's the furthest thing from what you need, right? You need to have the opposite of that. You need to be able to say, you know what, I'm wrong here. You're right. Your idea makes more sense. You need to be humble enough to say those type of things, either to a promoter or to a talent.
Well, it's like last show. So I just used for an example, Dreamy Drew versus Johnny Fuego. So one of Johnny's only offensive moves. He had a lot of offensive moves on Saturday. Some of them dealt in the kitchen. Some of them dealt in the clubhouse. But is a monkey flip. He's got a monkey flip. He's got a crossbody. So twice during that match, Dreamy Drew shut down his monkey flip. It's not going to hurt anything by letting the guy hit a fucking monkey flip, right? You don't need to. You've already countered it once. You used it as a cutoff, and you used it as something else to get heading towards your finish. You don't need to counter his move twice because you didn't give him that in his comeback. What you did give him was the first crossbody, and then you immediately called for a second crossbody. The second crossbody, you were trying to catch him to counter into your finishing move, and you blew the spot, is what we say. You botched it, right? Whatever the fuck botch means. And then you had the ad-lib to go to the finish, but you killed your finish in a sense because of this move that you wanted him to hit twice. Well, the crossbody is a pinnacle move, man. It's a pinnacle move. I heard something interesting the other day, and I've always said it. When I was talking to Spark, he's like, the 3 bumps on the comeback. And I go, no, it's not 3 bumps on the comeback. It needs to elevate more. If I clothesline you and I body slam you and then I hip toss you, and then next it's going to be a back body drop. That back body drop is the pinnacle of it, because I'm running in and it's boom, you knock me down. I get up like, oh shit, boom, because I'm beating on you, and you knock me down. I get up and body slam. I get up. Oh shit, I got caught in the hip toss. And now I'm being whipped off the rope, and I'm like, what's going? Oh, back. And now I'm selling, but now I'm going, don't. Slow down, please. I don't want to take any more of this. We talked about the meters coming back up, right? But on those comebacks, that's why a lot of stuff I do, like with Illuminate, it dealt with like banging the head against the buckle and double. There's so much little stuff that we can do in the middle to keep the baby face rolling, and everybody's so focused on clothesline, back elbow, and they believe that. So here's my thing. If the heel puts 3 to like we did, because Jeff kept saying, he's like, hey, was that a rib out there, guys? Put the heat on me for 5 fucking minutes. It's like, nah, the crowd they wanted to see more, so we kept it up. You know, we could have gone home, but they wanted more because they weren't there yet. And he's like, no, you're right. But if I am going to beat, if singles, tag, 6-man, whatever, Jeff in that instance isn't going to get the chance to get the offense back because it's either going to you or Illumide, right?
Right.
So he's taking all that heat just to do something at the end to be involved in the finish, but he's not getting his heat back. That's what can suck about a 6-man and a tag. But in a single sense, if I'm putting 4 to 5 minutes of good heat on you as the baby face, and you come back, and your comeback isn't bigger than the heat that I put on you, then why is the audience even going to buy into you as the baby face? You know what I mean? Like if you kick my ass for 5 minutes and my comeback is a clothesline, body slam, and then we go back to trading it, you didn't pay off the fans with the baby coming back, because the baby face's comeback should be the equivalent of the heel's heat, but greater.
Right.
You know what I mean? It should be greater because I've been getting my ass kicked. And that's the whole purpose of why we're building up to any comeback for a baby face. That's why it's slow and methodical, is because we're trying to get the fans going, God dang it, come on. Get up. Yes, damn it. Antagonize. So we're getting that audience at this pitch, and they're to the point where, okay, they're not there yet. Nah, wait a minute, they're getting there. Okay, wait, we got them. Oh shit, they really want. So once you get them there, you have to know when there is, and once you get to there, you have to make sure that baby face is starting to he gets more on you, so that the fans are satisfied. Even if he don't win, they have to be satisfied that he is beating up the heel now, and he's got him on his heels on the ropes. Because if you don't, you're making the baby weak, and then why would the audience want to get behind that baby? We can't build a story with a weak baby face.
Right. Yeah. So just as you're talking, I'm thinking about all the sequences of stuff, and I'm thinking the body slams by Bad News at the end there. That kind of led to going into the finish, and what ended up happening during the finish with Illuminate trying to body slam him, and just like you're saying, like we're trying to get back all of that stuff that happened to our team, plus a little bit more. So definitely understood on that aspect. Yeah. So talk a little bit about like giving the baby face, the little shine moments in within the beatdown. Because I'm thinking about like while you're being working heel, the type of things that you should continue to do. You said like it's going up. Like the things that you should be giving to the babyface in order to get that reaction from the fans, so they think, oh shit, my guy might have a chance here. He's coming back. He's getting a little bit of offense here and there. I've always thought like just example. I'm picking a guy up and he's just fighting back with just punches before he gets shut down. And then maybe it's like duck one, take one. So it's like he avoided getting hit. Oh shit. Thought the fans think that he's going to get something offensive, and gets shut down, and then maybe you get something where they actually get some of that offense back.
Well, it's a flow, right? So I cut you down. Boom, you're down. So now once I've got you down, I have to realize, like with Jeff in there, for instance, the first cut down on him, when I'm in control, I'm going to give him a bigger hope spot as the crowd starts to get behind him the first time. Because even though I cut him down and he's slowed down, he's still got energy, right? So that first hope spot is going to almost be a mini comeback. It's going to be he fights up and he gets away and to the corner and I miss, and now he's really picking up some steam on me and he's firing up, and then I shut him down. Now, the second one, as the crowd starts to get up, if we get to another level of it, is he fights off, but he doesn't get anything. He just gets shut down because now he's tired. He's more tired. And the third one is we just get careless. We get careless. We're like, bad news, body slam them. Bam. No, bad news. Yeah. Body slam him one more time. Ugh. All right, tag me in. And then I come in, and you notice I was just real slow and in my deliberate in my stalking. And then it's like, okay, all right, get in here. And then Night Train tries to get in, but Larry says, no, you didn't. Okay, whatever, I'll tag you in. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? And I even did the thing in the match I was talking about where when the refs turned around, and then Larry turns around and is like, hey, you guys didn't tag. It's like, oh, we did. You were turned around. You didn't see it. And he's like, I didn't see. We don't care. We're just going to move along. I'm going to get out. This guy's going to come in. But you have to. I cut you off, right? You're all over me. You come running at me. I move out of the corner. You hit the post. You come back, level you at the clothesline. Now I sell to the audience that I'm fatigued and you're down. So now I'm taking my time because now I need to give you a cool little fight back. I need to give you some cool hope. And I'm waiting on that hope for the audience. If you don't sell something, if you don't sell for me, then I can't get my heat and interact with the audience. And in turn, they can't get behind you. So if too many times in the cutoff, we just go to the next thing without letting the fans soak in that this guy just got stopped. And that's such a big part of the match. And it's only as big as you make it. If you as the babyface just go, okay, I'm cut off. All right, what's next? Then nobody's going to get behind you. But if you as the babyface sell the shit out of it, and as the heel, you really use that time to antagonize this audience, then building the babyface back up is going to be a lot easier because you've already established this with the audience. So it's all about taking your time, man. Sell it. Sell for me. There's nothing wrong with it. Because if you sell for me, I'm going to get these people riled up so that it's going to make your job easier to build to that comeback. We need sympathy. And sympathy is only coming from you selling and me antagonizing them while you're selling. That's where sympathy comes from. If you sell, if you're doing a great job selling for me on the mat or whatever, and I'm not antagonizing the audience, they're not going to get behind you anyways. There's no sympathy.
That's exactly right. We definitely need to do that, throughout the match regardless, right? And that's, you hear a lot of people saying like, are you going to, stop no-selling my stuff, things like that. And it's like, people think it's like a shot at your character, right? It's like, no, I'm not telling you that your character is not tough enough to compete with my character, but I am telling you, don't no-sell my stuff because I can get, I can get in the, get the crowd riled up. So then when your comeback happens, they're going to be that much more into it because of all the work I've done riling them up, to gain that heat, So we definitely need to do that. I don't know. It's in my mind. We talk about the offensive selling all the time, right? Yeah, you're fighting back, but you were just getting your ass kicked for several minutes, right? So it doesn't make sense that you now are, your power meter is back up to 100%, right? You should be fighting back, and you're building up your power meter a little bit, right? But you're still injured, you're still hurt. So that kind of gets back to what you were talking about with the high flyer getting debilitated a little bit, where now they can't do those high flying moves. Which made me think about that whole, have you ever tried to do a match without hitting the ropes? Like I tell people all the time, and they think it's ridiculous that you would say something like that, but it's like, that's a challenge to give yourself, right? Can you wrestle a match without using the ropes? For me, it's like I get in situations where I throw a lot of punches, right? Too many punches, I think, for my, for my liking, right? It's like if I punch someone 10 times throughout the course of a match, they should probably be pretty beat up, right? But if it's one or two punches, then maybe it's not so much. Or if it's 0 punches, then there's probably a lot more ability for that person to fight back, and it makes the believability of the story a lot higher. So, taking those little things upon yourself, those challenges is very important. As much as everyone wants to do all the moves, and you want to go back to your comfort zone. I think about how many times, I'd shoot a guy off and hit him with a clothesline when I was lost, right? It's like, that's your comfort zone. That's where you're just like, oh, I can just shoot him off, hit him with a clothesline. Or I've used the example of the DDT. You get lost, you hit a guy with the DDT. It's like, that was a finisher at one point. So don't get, get into the habit of going, oh, well, I'll just, I'm lost, I'm just going to use this, like, hitting you with a Liger bomb because you're lost,
Well, it's like right now, me and you, we've done it in Sparks, and we did it in Urington. And it's when you're coming back, you put a couple on me, you get me off the rope, you give me that big boot. I really sell it while you're loading this up to get the fans, and then here comes that choke slam. And both times I've gotten out of it, and both times the guy on the other end has rushed running into the ring because they don't know any better. They don't know, like, let it breathe, man. We're trying to get the most out of this because they want to see you choke slam me. They want it so bad. And all these other guys are taking it, and they're like, oh, man, great choke slam, man. Way to let me take my bump. I'll take it all day from you. And the funny thing is, the guy who doesn't want to be choke slammed, who will eventually take a choke slam at the very end, I don't want to take that. And I mean, like, I really don't want to take that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take that until there's a reason to take that and there's a payoff. But now it's like when we come back around those towns, now we elevate that little spot a little bit where it's bang, bang, boot. I come selling around. But then this time I speed into the corner and you charge me and hit me with a line. And when I come out, you hit a big sidewalk slam and 1, 2, oh, and then now you're setting up for the choke slam. And then when we go back to Urington, same thing. Big boot, sell around, but this time instead of coming back for the choke slam, you're setting up for the choke slam, and I turn around and I fall into the corner and you go, ooh, come out, come out, come out. Oh, 1, 2, whoa. And then now you get up and now you show them choke slam again. You extend that so much that by the time we come back around the horn again there, it's same thing, sidewalk slam, choke slam. Nope, not tonight. Come back there. Ding, ding, ding. Same thing, sidewalk slam. Now you grab for the choke slam. Now comes my counter. So now for 9 months, they saw boot. They saw choke slam. Didn't happen. Boot, new town, choke slam. Didn't happen. Okay, we come back around. Boot, corner, line, sidewalk slam, boot, corner, line, sidewalk slam. Come back around the horn again. Boot, clothesline, line, sidewalk slam, choke slam. Gotcha. Now instead of someone running in, I kick you in the nuts or I find a way out. And we do that around the horn. So then when we come back around the horn that fourth time, closing in on a year of doing this, now when you finally get a hold of me and I counter, but then you grab me again, that one time that you elevate me up in the air and drive me down into the canvas and cover me, that crowd, and I promise you, is going to they're going to cheer, yeah, and you're going to cover, and they're going to go 1, 2, yeah, and the place is it's going to blow off the roof. We paid them off, right? And the beauty of getting to the payoff that last time is maybe up until you get to the place you want to do it, choke. Maybe I take more than one choke slam. I take one in each of these towns. 1, 2, somebody pulls the ref out of the ring. 1, 2, somebody gets on the apron. And then now it becomes a thing where you can do all kinds of shit. Where 1, 2, they pull the ref out of the ring. The ref lays out the fucking wrestler. You know what I mean? Or 1, 2, the guy hops up on the apron, and now you get up and you grab the guy off the apron. And those are things that can lead to me getting the advantage over you. And now you start playing that scenario after you hit those choke slams so that when you finally do hit that one important choke slam that gets to 3, it's in the right town, in front of the right crowd, at the right place. It's the right place and the right time. And the right place and the right time is the building that's got the most seats and the cash box that has the most 20s, 50s, and 100s in them.
That's it, man. Storytelling 101 right there. It's funny because, that's the classic setup when you'd have WWE having house shows, right? It's figuring out what works and what sequences and all these different things, where you can go, I can have the same match 5 straight days, but we can make a little tweak, somewhere along the line. And, especially with the era that we're in now, where it's like the fans are getting to see all these different things where they anticipate, oh, I know what's happening. It's punches, it's big boot, it's choke slam. I know what's going to happen here, right? And then you just, obviously, you're saying, you're just adding a little bit to each one of those things, and then each town gets to see the new twist, and then they think they know what's going on, and a swerve happens again. So
we got 3.
Exactly.
So, boom, 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 and then you do it one more round so that the town that's your biggest town gets one more time. If you're going to run it a cycle of 3, your big town gets 4, and 4 is the conclusion of it all. That's where it's concluded. I always look back at our match that we did on here where we broke it down. Right. And Bradley Rotten, RIP, was the voice of you for the heel, and you were the giant and I was the baby face, and that's the way it had to happen in PCW at the time. But now at my age and your age, when I'm watching me as the villain and you as the baby face, it makes it an easier story to tell. Whoa, it makes it an easier story to tell. I'm able to look at the story, and maybe it's because we're further along in our knowledge of wrestling or what it is. But as I look around, I say, 5 minutes remain in this podcast. 5 minutes remain in this podcast. But right now, it's becoming easier for me. And the way we're going to put this together, when we get to that point where we finally wrestle, and I don't know what show it's going to be. I don't know when it's going to be. They'll tell us when they're ready for it to happen. But I feel like it's going to be just one of the easiest nights of my life. That's what I feel. I feel like there's going to be so much behind it and anticipation that even to the point where we have to do anything to each other it's going to be so easy. They're going to react off of everything. And that's where we're trying to get. I forgot who I was telling it to in the locker room, but I said, hey, I might have been, it was Nick Night Train. And I was saying if somebody has to take a big bump or near kill themselves and the fans are chanting holy shit, if they're chanting holy shit off of the actual action that happened, the move that happened, they're saying that because they really believe that guy almost risked his life or died. The holy shit chant you want, and I always talk about it, is like WrestleMania, 80,000 people, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar standing across from each other, and they're chanting holy shit, and the bell hasn't even sounded yet. That means that if you're in that holy shit category, that's the holy shit category that means you're going to make a lot of money in this business, because they are just chanting holy shit at the idea that you two are in the ring with each other. They haven't even seen what's going to happen yet. They're just there and they're going, oh fuck, it's Rock, it's Hogan. Holy shit. Okay, now you know you've drawn some money in the business. But if you have to risk something dangerous to get that chant, then you're not the guy that's going to draw money for that company. You're the undercard to mid-card guy that's going to have to work extra hard and risk his body for the guy in the main event to draw the money.
It's true. I mean, we talked about that all the time, man. Just about the, people think that that's the ultimate, right? Getting that chant, or this is wrestling, or whatever. But the types of chants that that you get that are I think are like genuine. The fans are in awe. I think about the sin is going to kill you type of chant. Where they want this guy to hurt you so bad that they are mocking you with this. Like, you got yourself into this situation. You're in big trouble. This dude is going to hurt you. Those type of things where you go, the anticipation is what's leading to these fans chanting like this. Or you think about like a sequence that happens of a match that's telling a really good story, and there's a down moment, and then the fans start chanting something like that, where they're just impressed with the contest as a whole, not just some sort of super high spot move that a guy landed dangerously. So I think about those situations being those ones that are very meaningful, not those ones that are just, I almost killed myself and, oh my God, please don't die. Please don't die.
Well, right? An excellent point you just made. How over is sin that the fact that when a wrestler, even if it's a bigger guy, is in the ring and the fans are chanting to him that this guy is going to kill you. Like, they're just that confident in this guy's character that he's that fucking badass that they're just sitting there chanting, sin's going to kill you. Dude, they're saying it to 500-pound Bad News too. Sin's gonna kill you. And the audience really believes that. Like, that means that this guy is the most over guy on your card.
Right.
When they're chanting that to a 500-pound guy who's been dominant for over a year, and they're chanting that about another character that he's going to kill you in sync very confidently, that means that if you're smart, you have one hell of a baby face that's going to draw you some money on this side of the table. Man, Paul, that one went quick.
It did indeed, man. But we just need people to subscribe, follow, like, all those things. I believe that we are up to 290 subscribers, but we are on our way. What do you got there?
Hit that subscribe button for Zack Primetime Reeb and the 7-foot wrecking ball. We're going over.